Have you ever stopped and wondered what really keeps your digital life secure? It turns out there's this simple but incredibly powerful framework that protects everything, from your private DMs all the way up to global financial systems. And today, we're going to break it all down. I mean, really think about it. Every single day, you trust countless digital systems with your most sensitive information. So what actually stops someone from just reading your emails? Or, a little scarier, from changing a number in your bank account? These are the kinds of fundamental questions that, believe me, keep security experts up at night. And the answer, or at least the start of one, lies in a model called the CIA Triad. Now, this isn't just some abstract theory, okay? It's a really practical guide that literally shapes how secure systems are designed and defended all over the world. And yeah, let's just get this out of the way right off the bat. No, we're not talking about spies and covert ops. In the cybersecurity world, CIA stands for three absolutely crucial principles: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So let's dive into each one. All right, first up, confidentiality. This is the pillar that answers that first big question we had. How do you keep your private information, well, private? It's all about making sure that your data is only accessible to people who are supposed to see it, nobody else. So how do we actually do that? Well, it all starts with a concept called access control, and that really just boils down to two simple but critical ideas. You know, the easiest way to think about this is to picture a bouncer at a nightclub. Authentication, that's the bouncer checking your ID to make sure you are who you say you are. That's step one, right? Who are you? But just because you're on the list, that doesn't mean you can just waltz into the VIP lounge. And that's where authorization comes in. It's checking what you're actually allowed to do once you're inside. Okay, but what if someone manages to intercept your data while it's flying across the internet? Access control isn't going to help you there. That is where our second powerful tool for confidentiality comes into play: encryption. The whole process is a lot like writing a message in a secret code. First, you use a secret key to scramble your message into what looks like unreadable gibberish. Then you send it. Now, if anyone intercepts that message, all they're going to see is nonsense. Only the person you sent it to, the one who has the matching key, can unlock it and read the original message. Pretty cool, right? So, we've kept our data secret. That's a great start. But the next question is, how do we know that we can actually trust it? And that brings us to our second pillar: integrity. This one is all about making sure your data is accurate and hasn't been secretly changed or tampered with. Simply put, integrity is about maintaining the consistency and trustworthiness of your data. It's what makes sure the bank balance you see is the real balance and not something an attacker quietly messed with behind the scenes. Here's a perfect and kind of scary example of an integrity attack. So an intruder breaks into a system, steals some data, and then, to cover their tracks, they delete the security logs that recorded everything they did. The data in that system has now been modified, its integrity is completely compromised, and now you can't even trust your own records to figure out what happened. So how do we stop this from happening? Well, we use these clever cryptographic tools that act like a digital, tamper-proof seal. This seal can mathematically prove if even a single bit of data has been altered, which lets a system instantly flag that its records are no longer trustworthy. And that brings us to our third and final pillar: availability. Look, it doesn't matter one bit if your data is secret and trustworthy if you can't even get to it when you need it. Availability is all about making sure that systems and data are up and running and accessible to authorized users whenever they're needed. The number one threat to availability is something called a denial of service, or a DOS attack. The idea is actually pretty simple. An attacker just completely overwhelms the server with so much junk traffic that it can no longer respond to legitimate users. They basically knock it offline. Now, it often starts with just one attacker, just one person with a malicious goal to take a website or service offline. But you might be wondering, how can one single person generate enough traffic to overwhelm a massive server? Well, here's the trick. They don't use their own computer. They use what's called a force multiplier. They hijack thousands and thousands of unsuspecting computers, phones, even smart fridges from all over the world and turn them into a botnet. It's like a zombie army. Then they command them all to attack the target at once. That is a distributed denial of service, or DDoS attack, and it is incredibly difficult to defend against. There's another common tactic, and there's a great real-world way to think about it. Imagine dozens of people just constantly ringing your doorbell. So you open the door, you're holding it, waiting, but they never actually come in. Pretty soon, you're stuck holding all your doors open, and no one who actually wants to visit can get in. A SYN flood attack does exactly that to a server. It starts thousands of connections but never finishes them, tying up all the server's resources until it just crashes. So there you have it: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. These aren't just abstract ideas. They actually form a super practical checklist that you can use to think about the security of pretty much any system. So you can use this triad as a simple but really powerful checklist. Just ask yourself, is it confidential? Can I trust its integrity? And is it going to be available when I need it? If the answer to all three is a solid yes, then you've got a great security foundation. And this leaves us with a final thought for your own digital life. See, sometimes these three pillars are in tension with each other. For instance, making something extremely confidential might make it harder to access. It's this balancing act that makes it a triad. So think about it. For your private medical records, is confidentiality the most important thing? For your family photos, is it availability? For a bank account, it's almost certainly integrity. Understanding that balance is the real key to thinking like a security expert. Thanks for joining us for this explain.